My name is JD Shelburne. I was born in Taylorsville, Kentucky. It's a little town about 40 miles southeast of Louisville. I grew up on a farm. It's been in our family for many generations. My grandma and grandpa grew up on this farm. Great-grandfather bought it back in 1917. And so we're coming up on 105, 106 years here at the farm. Growing up in a small town on the farm, my first job was working in tobacco. Cut tobacco, house tobacco. We threw hay bales with all my buddies. We did everything a kid would do on the farm, as you can imagine. I spent most of my childhood actually playing sports. Music was never a thought. Never played guitar, never saw a guitar. Mom sang in the church choir. I sang in children's church every now and then. Nothing too serious. When I started playing organized sports, Little League, which gravitated into middle school and high school sports, we would take a Sony boombox on the bus with us. You got to think back then, this is before cell phones and internet, so the only thing to do on a bus ride to a ball game was to listen to music, and so we spent a lot of time singing the CDs and tapes, and I really think music was kind of etched in my blood early on, somewhat there. I come from an all-American family. My dad was a principal and teacher, and then my mom was a school teacher as well, so I grew up in education, my brother and I, and it wasn't until my first semester in college away from home where I really started to figure out, hey, what's next? What do I want to do for a living? The high school days were over, and so my grandmother passes suddenly back in 2002, and after her death, I came home to college and found a guitar in her house. Once I found the guitar, took a little bit of interest in it, brought it back to the house, and ended up taking it to my college apartment. And for the next 8 months, I literally sat in the dorm room in my apartment at the time, just trying to figure out what it was, how to play it. I could always halfway sing a little bit just because we'd sang so much on the school bus on the way to ball games. And so I wasn't really worried about singing. I just wanted to play guitar, something fun to do. And that's kind of where a light bulb kind of went off. Started playing guitar. More friends would come around the house. We'd play bonfires. And then next thing you know, my buddies were like, man, you should try to play some bars and get your name out and see what happens. The easiest money I ever made was playing music. You start making money doing something you love, you want to keep doing it. And I think back to those days when I really started to, teach myself to play. I'd come home and play in church. I'd sing in nursing homes, bonfires, church picnics, places around town, pizza parlors, anywhere that would really book me. I called my parents one night. We were coming up on Thanksgiving break in college, and I called home one night and I told my parents. Dad answered the phone, and I said, Dad, I'm wanting to put on a concert for the family when I get home on Thanksgiving week. And Dad's like, what? I remember my dad clear as day saying, Mom, get on the phone. JD's got something he wants to tell you. And they get on the phone. I could tell this on speakerphone. And I said, if it'd be all right with you guys when I come home for Thanksgiving, I'd like to perform for the family. And my mom goes, well, that'd be all right. What are you planning on doing? I said, well, Dad, I'm singing. Dad goes, what? And I'll never forget the awkward silence on the other end of the phone. And I could tell they just looked at each other thinking, is he even going to school? What's he doing in Lexington? But I came home that Thanksgiving break and sang for the family and my aunts and uncles. And it was so funny to see. You got mixed emotions. I still remember it to this day. Some of the family had tears rolling down their face, and some were laughing, and some were like, what's going on here? And so I look back on those days of finding the guitar that I never knew my grandmother had, and I really feel like it was kind of a godsend that kind of landed in my pathway and happened the way it did. And I just graduated college, sack full of dreams, and Nashville was on the horizon. I didn't know if I would move there. I moved back here to Taylorsville, right here on this farm, about 2007. Lived here for about 8 months with my parents. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Worked a couple side jobs. Worked for an insurance company in Louisville. Hated every minute of it. Every time I was at the job, I was constantly searching for gigs. Music was my true passion, so to speak. Back in February 2008, I came home from a gig one night, and my parents were sitting on the couch with all the lights on in the house. It was about midnight. Mom and Dad go to bed about 8 o'clock, because I knew something was up. Walk on the door, Mom and Dad says, when you going to Nashville, son? And I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't ever want to hear you say Nashville again. If you never go, you'll never know if you reach your goals, reach your dreams. We're here to push you there, and we want to take you there. The next week, we packed a U-Haul. I quit my job, and we traveled 65 South for 3 hours, and arrived in Nashville and worked an insurance job off 65 down in Franklin for a couple years to help make ends meet. And in the process of that, I was playing shows, traveling back and forth to Kentucky a bunch. Had a rapid growing fan base there. Nobody in Nashville really knew who I was, but I didn't really care. I just loved going back home, loving seeing family and friends at the show. In the process, I was getting paid doing that. I was making money working a side hustle at the insurance company. And so I did that for several years. I was a weekend artist, and I would work during the week and play at night and play on the weekends. And I think I could probably drive I-65 in my sleep. So moved to Nashville, never looked back. It's been an amazing journey. Very lonely nights at first. Didn't know a soul down there that would even help me, even open doors. I was forced to really open doors myself and look people in the eye. And Mom and Dad always taught me that if you're going to meet somebody face to face and try to sell yourself, you got to look them in the eye, shake their hands firm, and just record great songs. And I think all that kind of ties into what's got me to where I'm at. I spent many weekends traveling back and forth to Kentucky, especially early on, and I still do. My biggest fan base was there. The more I played live, the more hands I shook, the more people I got to see face to face, the more fans I met along the way, and those just kept piling on and building. And my largest fan base is, I got to say, right here, Central Kentucky, Louisville area, Taylorsville, all these surrounding counties I grew up playing in. I got family in. I played sports with all these people around this town, and all those folks that know folks would bring people to shows. And so someone that started from the bottom. I mean, you're looking right here behind me. This is a family farm, the barn, tobacco barn I grew up in. I mean, I used to hang tobacco in this barn and park tractors in this barn. I mean, the conversations that went on inside these beams here, I would love to hear them again. I mean, you know, as a kid growing up here on this farm, we had no idea what we wanted to do. We had no idea that one day I would write songs about this property, about what I did growing up, and people would relate to it and become fans. And I'm just grateful for so many fans out there that's bought my records. I'm now about to release my 6th album out of Nashville. All those records I have, recorded with my own money, own dime. Everything I've been able to make through music, I put back on my own project. And one day when I do leave Nashville and I come back home and build a house on the farm, hopefully, if I can convince my wife, at the end of the day, I won't owe Nashville a dime. And I think as a person that's in the industry that's trying to get to the next level, it's a good feeling. So I'm just grateful for so many people that have followed my career from day one of the bowling alleys when no one knew my name. Just never dreamed this guitar would really take me to where I've gotten, and I'm thankful for everyone's support. Was in search of the right female, and never really found one that worked out that could take the music industry. Traveling all the time, touring. I was sitting at my insurance job, and I was actually sending promos to festivals. I still do that. I still send promos, and end up coming across this festival called the Madison Regatta. Long story short, the person in charge of booking, we kind of developed a small little friendship over email that she was going to book us for the upcoming regatta that in the summer. I just booked it, and she had mentioned that she had been to a concert that weekend and wanted to send me a picture of the artist that they went and saw up in Nashville, Indiana. And she sent me the photo of this artist, and in the photo stood Amy in a purple shirt. And I wrote the lady back, and I was like, "Who's the lady in the purple shirt?" And so that's been kind of a funny joke ever since that day. Amy and I met at a show and fell in love, and she moved to Nashville several years after that. We dated long distance for a while, and she has been just the backbone of my career. She really has promoted me. She left her family and everything, her job, and moved to Nashville to promote my job, and we have just had the greatest connection. She's been by my side at so many shows, front row, sold my merchandise, drove the truck, hired the band for me, fired the band. One of my most favorite memories with her is back in 2016, I had just finally worked up the courage and the money and all that stuff to propose to my wife at the Kentucky Derby red carpet. And we did that, and it was amazing. I never will forget turning around and seeing Richie Sambora kissing my wife, congratulating her on the red carpet. He was behind us in line, and so it was just an amazing time. And she's just been a great partner, business partner, wife, now a mom. She's now a great mom to our son Jackson. We've had a lot of prayers answered. We've had a lot of great blessings, and very grateful for her support. Looking back on my career, it's been a great ride. I never dreamed I'd get off this farm. Never dreamed that a guitar would take me to venues I've played that I used to go to as a kid. I'm grateful for so many fans that have come to my shows, that spent their money, their hard-earned money, to drive to my shows, to buy my records, to buy my merch, to thanks to all those fans that have told their neighbors, their friends about me, that's brought them to shows. And as an artist, you'll never know how much that means to us. It's been great to have hometown support. I owe Taylorsville a lot of my career. For so many years, it was all about me and my career and trying to make a living doing this, and honest living. And now looking forward, it's about my son Jax. Everything I do for him now, his future. I want to thank God for just protecting me all these years and giving me the courage and talent to get to where I'm at today. You guys can find out more about my music on my website, jdshelburne.com. Look us up, become a fan. Most of my fans become friends, and I hope to see you guys at the next show.
Stores and rusty trucks and everything else that I love. It's all right here. Some people can't wait to get out. Me, I think I'll just stick around, 'cause heaven looks like here to me, where I wanna be. So give me a hell yeah and an amen for the good times and good friends. We raise them up, then we drink them down. We all get lost, we all get found. When the whiskey buzz starts to move ya, Friday feeling cuts right through ya. That's a good Lord talking to ya. That's a neon hallelujah.